the legal actions from Byron Henry, constitutional scholar and an attorney based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Byron, what was your initial reaction?
Well, I knew that there was going to be some controversy and some lawsuits filed, which quickly followed. And the way you need to look at it is that there's two issues going on here. The first issue is those who had already been lawfully admitted and were already here, and those that have not been lawfully admitted or obtained a visa and traveled to the United States. Most of the orders that were entered that I'm aware of, and of course there's a lot of them, I've heard of at least five by different judges across the country, deal with people that had already achieved their visa or their lawfully admitted status to be here and were like either on their way or actually here on American soil in an airport. So most of the orders focus on not returning those people to their home country until a hearing can be held. The orders that I reviewed don't even say that they have to be released or let into the country. They just said that the government, the executive branch, could not return them to their home country until the courts had a hearing. So you've got that group of orders, and that actually makes sense that a judge would stay the order until a hearing, because once those people are returned to their home country, there's really nothing a judge could do.
Do you see any constitutional issues here?
Well, there may be some due process issues with respect to people that have a vested right and under the law to be here in attempting to send them back without due process, meaning without a hearing or without a trial. But the Constitution does not give non-citizens the right to actually come to this country, to visit the country, nor does it give them the right as refugees, nor does the Constitution give anyone the right to become a citizen. That is all controlled by law. So you ask who has the final say. In this whole battle between the executive, the courts, it's actually someone who's not present in these battles. Congress has plenary power over immigration in this country. And if they have vested some of it in the president for national security reasons, then the president would be wielding some of that power through executive order. But the bottom line is, from a constitutional standpoint, as long as they get their due process, if they have a vested right, then there is no constitutional right to work in this country as a non-citizen, to visit this country as a non-citizen, to come to this country as a refugee, unless Congress has so stated, because Congress has plenary authority, as I said, over immigration. So ultimately, Congress will have the last say on this, but as between the courts, of course, we know the federal courts have the right to put stays on orders, as courts did as to President Obama's immigration order that was stayed until a final trial on the merits. So courts do have at least the temporary authority to put a hold on executive orders, but bottom line is that if Congress and President Trump are on the same page on these issues, it will be a short fight because Congress ultimately has the final say on these issues.
Speaking with Byron Henry, constitutional scholar, also attorney based in Dallas-Fort Worth. You can find him at solidcounsel.com. We're talking about who has the final say on President Trump's immigration ban. I know that this particular executive order from President Trump had 7 particular countries in mind, but do you think, based on your experience, that something like this from the White House could have a ripple effect to, say, Mexico or these Central American companies? Do folks there start thinking, you know what, maybe it's not worth the trouble to go to the U.S.?
Well, I think there's two concerns there that I've noticed. One, first of all, these countries of concern, the Yemen, the Somalia, Iran, Iraq, and Syria, those countries were on a list prior to President Trump becoming president. Those were listed in State Department official documents and designations of countries of specific concern for terrorist immigration. They'd already been flagged. He didn't pull these out of a hat. This was not a concoction of his new administration. It was through the Bush administration and the Obama administration that these were countries of concern. So that's number one. But number two, all it shows is that America is going to take seriously its immigration laws and the national security of the country. It doesn't mean we're un-American. It doesn't mean we're turning away all refugees. I mean, in fact, there's a lot of Muslim countries in this world that are not on that list. These are specific countries that have Muslim ties that are tied to terrorism, not necessarily the Muslim faith. So I think that it is not un-American to put a temporary slowdown or halt to a system that has not had proper vetting. And President Trump promised that before we took in more immigrants or refugees specifically, we were going to have a better vetting process.
Thanks, Byron. Byron Henry, constitutional scholar, also an attorney based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
America's First News is online all the time. Follow us on Twitter @ThisMorningShow. Like us on Facebook or send us an email, thismorning@compassmedianetworks.com.